What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we are going to be going over the best two guards in NBA 2K21 MyTEAM. So lads, we're only going to be going over primary two guards. We're not going to be looking at guys that can play at this position. So some guys in this tier list definitely are going to be best played at point guard, some of them best at small forward. And yeah, this is going to be our last good tier list until Thursday, because let's be real, the small forward position not kinda sucks, it really sucks. It's really bad, lads. So yeah, I would most definitely advise you not to use a primary small forward in your team, unless of course that's primary small forward is like, I don't know, Justice Winslow. Is he the best primary? He could be the best primary small forward in the game. Like, there is really no great ones. But either way, this doesn't really matter. We're talking about two guards today. So, anyway, now let's get on to it. So the first player is Adrian Donnelly. Oh, starting off with a bang. Adrian Donnelly right here. I'm pretty sure he was the Ascension reward from Season 5. Get into worthless. This guy's so bad. Like, yes, he comes with 15 Hoffs and half Showtime. Dude's got an 81 three-pointer, Manu Ginobili release, a bad dribble style, Pro 4 behind the back. He's only a 6'5" two guard, and only 2 half defense badges and 2 half playmaking badges. And in terms of his shooting, doesn't come with range, doesn't come with Deadeye. He also doesn't come with blinders for next gen. I am telling you, Adrian Donnelly. Like, the Ascension awards have all been pretty bad. Billy Cunningham's alright, but yeah, Adrian Donnelly's not it. He is absolutely not it. Then we have got Anthony Edwards. D tier, even badged up. He could move to C. He's okay. Like, when he came out, he was one of the better diamonds in the game. But like, I'm pretty confident he came out in Season 5. I'm pretty confident he came out in Season 5. Like, yeah, he did, because he has a dynamic duo and they only have at the start of the new season. Like, his three-point is not great. His defense is alright, I guess. He can curry. His release is decent. It's the same release as a Kuzma. Decent behind the back, but no, C tier. I think C tier is probably fair. Aflalo. This is a D tier card if I've ever seen one. Aflalo, base 18, Manu base. He's like a slightly better version of Adrian Donnelly. He is a slightly better version of him. He is definitely not a player that I would really advise anyone to use at this stage in the game, considering the fact you can get a lot better players such as the likes of like Devon Vasel and such for 1,300 MT. It really shows that there is no point right now to get this card, but I mean, he's not horrible. So D tier. Billy Owens. I mean, he's in that second tier of two guards, isn't he? He really is in that second tier. I don't rate him that highly. Cold zones are a bit of a problem on current gen. Next gen, I mean, he's decent. Yeah, he's like, looking at his stats right now, he's good. I don't like Dame base on next gen, which is just me, but he has a good dribble style. He's a lot better in next gen than current gen, but current gen he's kind of weak, so let's put him in A tier. Beal. If Beal was 6'5", Beal would be in B pushing A tier. Dude's got half blinders, bad dribble style. Great release though, he is chicken. Like, if you leave the dude open, he will hit shots. So, C tier, I guess, is probably a fair spot for Bradley Beal on this list. Obviously, some people might want him higher. He's definitely higher next gen, but I mean, he's probably D tier if we're talking current gen, so I'll put him C. Ingram. Yeah, Ingram belongs in B. This is a good spot for Brandon Ingram. He's not terrible. He came out, I think it was the 2nd of April, the DeRozan that week. He does have half blinders, curry, slide, and base 75, so he's got a lot of positive things for next gen, but he's kind of weak on current gen. Like, if he had quick dribble style, he'd be an A tier. I'm going to put him B tier for now, but I might bring him up to A. He might just about hang on to A. Brandon Roy. Roy's better than Ingram on current gen. Roy is worse than Ingram on next gen. So, do I? Yeah. Let's move up to A tier. Let's move him up to A tier. Bruce Bowen, B tier. Bowen's good on next gen. Half blinders. He's got range extender, Hall of Fame as well. Half clamps. And he's an overall good card. Buddy Hield. This is a really, really tough one. Let's put him in C. He's cash, but he can't really do much else. And he's a little bit undersized for a point guard. Or sorry, not for a point guard, for a 2 guard. So like Buddy Hield, again, he's got a decent wingspan, but he's only 6'4". Can't curry, so I think C tier is probably a good spot for him. Chris Mullen. He's the best player we've seen so far. I'm looking through. Are there 5 cards here better than Mullen? I'm going to say yeah, but not that many more. So let's put Chris Mullen here in A tier. Mullen is a lights out shooter. And he's one of the best at doing that in the game. He's also a mediocre ball handler. Pretty decent at going to the basket. Like, he's not terrible at anything else. But as just a pure shooter goes, he's definitely A tier. Then we've got Clyde the Glide Draxler. Clyde Draxler is going to go... If I've got Brandon Roy in A, I have to put Clyde in A. Then if I've got Clyde in A, do I put Ingram in A? I think I'm going to do this. Going to move both of these down. Okay, we're 7 minutes in. I'm going to get the lower tiers done just so I can see if I can move all these guys down. It might look better. So, let's have a look. We've already got one in worthless tier right here. We put Eddie Jones in a Flalo tier, wherever a Flalo is. I think a Flalo's stats are better, but Jones plays better in game. Who else do we put in? Q Rich. I mean, he has half blinders. Okay, I'm going to move both of these guys down a tier. I'm going to put this Kobe Bryant into D tier. We're going to put Kobe into D tier. I'm going to put Q Rich into D tier. Are we going to only have one useless, worthless player? I mean, at this stage of the game, Donovan Mitchell's pretty much worthless. He is pretty much worthless. He just has this weird player build, and he feels like very small, even at 6'1". But I'm trying to think what other players I can put in a really low tier. Do I do this? I think this is probably the fairest way to put the list at this stage. This is probably the fairest I can do. Coutinho Mobley. Mobley's like better Beal. I've used him. He's like better Beal. Mobley is cash. Mobley's one of the best releases in the game. He's also pretty decent on the basket, and his movement feels really good. So Coutinho Mobley, I'm definitely putting the guy in C tier. I think that's probably the most fair spot for him. Because again, I think he's a great shooter. And, well, he just does that one thing better than everybody on the list below him. And his movement is really, really good next gen. D'Angelo Russell. I'm going to say D tier. I like him, though. I do think he's alright. Like, this is one of those weird tier lists. Like, D tier, I like all of these cards. I really, really like all of these cards right here. But it's just, I think Bowen and Mobley are that little bit better than them. But D'Lo, not really great on next gen. Current gen, he's pretty good though. A 6'5" point guard, can move well enough as a decent release, so he's pretty decent. Darius Miles. This is a tough one. I actually used him today for the first time in a while because I was doing his XP agenda. And his release is actually really nice on next gen. His release is really nice. He's a 6'9", 2 guard. Really good release. He can curry slide. His one problem is he doesn't have half range. For like 7k MT, he's a steal. There's a 94 speed. He's got the long right release, which is really good. He has like a bit of weird upper, but I'm telling you, he belongs in B tier. He belongs in B tier. Demar Derozan. We finally have an S tier player, lads. Derozan is basically just like current gen T-Mac, as in a current gen made version of T-Mac. So basically, most current gen players would rather have DeRozan in their team than have Tracy, and most next gen players would rather, well, all next gen players would rather have Tracy than DeRozan. Tracy, there's a bigger gap on current gen. It's debatable whereas on next gen it's just not. T-Mac's better. So I'm not going to say DeRozan is better than T-Mac, but on current gen you could argue he is. Then we've got Devin Booker. Devin Booker, see, I use him, didn't like him. I don't know why I didn't like him. That's the problem. Maybe it might be a Darius Miles situation where if I use the card more, I like him, but he's basically extinct. He's got base 94, which I am not a fan of base 94. I didn't mind it on Colin Sexton. I hated it on Dirk. And I didn't like it on Booker when I tried it. He's got the Pro 2 escape, which is good. Slasher dribble style, which isn't great for next gen. Like, he should be alright on current gen, I guess. But at the same time, that's not getting you above C tier on my list. Devon Vasel. I think C tier probably is where he belongs. Maybe D tier. I dude's got like 10 half badges. And they are 10 of the key half badges. He's got a 6'10 wingspan. He's got base 91, which is Shea and very quick. Quick dribble style. Pro 3 bound back, Pro 2 escape. His mid-range is bad. That doesn't matter. So I think C tier is probably fair for Devin Vasel. Dominique Wilkins. Just based on how good his stats and stuff are, I'm going to put him in B tier. Dominique is a great shooter. Or sorry, he's a good shooter stats-wise. His release is iffy. I think iffy's probably the only way you can describe Dominique's release. Like, it's not unusable. Like, it's base 8. And if you guys remember base 8 from other years, it was unbelievable, and then 2K ruined it. Like, Dominique used to have this, like, release where he used to jump really, really high. And now he's like glued to the ground. They ruined base 8, they ruined base 11. And I don't understand why. Like, it's not even like many people used them that much in their last good year. Like, I don't remember that many people in 2K19 using base 8. Mostly it was base 11 that was used in 2K19. And then base 11 sucked in 2K20. So I don't really know why they ruined Dominique. But Dominique was a god up until realistically 2K19, from 2K13 days to his god tier Sapphire in 2K15, to a little bit of 2 quiet years in 2K17 and 2K16, to having great cards in 2K18, and then 2K19 having some really good ones. Rest in peace, good Dominique Wilkins in 2K. As long as they keep giving you the off release, you will never be good again. Then we have Dwayne Wade. D, he's not as good as these guys. He's just not. And then the other Dwayne Wade is the exact same card. So, like, is he better than D'Angelo Russell? Maybe. He still gets some nice chase down animations. Like, is he better at the 2 than Beal? No. He is, however, better at the 1 than Beal, because Beal can't play there. I mean, would I take him over Coutinho Mobley? No. He's alright on current gen. Dude's worthless tier on next gen. If we're talking next gen, dude's worthless tier. And he's probably the best current gen player in D tier, but because he's so bad on next gen, I'm just going to have to keep him in D tier. Evan Fournier. See, I thought he was going to be unbelievable. Because, like, when Fournier came out, he was one of, like, 7 or 8 players in the game with half range and half quick first step. So you half range, half quick first step, and half clamps. The guy also had gold showtime, decent at the time speed, a great 3-pointer, a good driving dunk, and he had a shifty dribble style. His release was just base 4, which isn't great. I don't know, there's just something about him. Like, I got him fairly easily, but he was only okay. He was only okay. He should have been way better stats-wise, and that's why you can't... This isn't one of those cards you can't judge everything by stats. And even animations, because he looked on paper to be the best player in the game, but... Nah, he came out a little bit after... What was it, like 2 weeks after Terry Dishinger? And I thought he was actually going to replace Terry Dishinger on my squad, and he just didn't. He just was not as good. Well, actually, no, he came 2 weeks after I got Terry Dishinger, not after Terry Dishinger came out. He came out about a month after Terry Dishinger came out. Then we've got Felipe Lopez. Felipe Lopez. D. As much as I love the card, the dude's D tier. And like, there's no more clear example of a D tier player than this. He's not as good as these guys in C tier. A bit more versatile than like a Vasel, because he can play the point guard, but the gap between him and Devon Vasel is big. Like, the gap between that, like, there's a reason why this card came out at the start of Season 5. He was God when he came out, but I mean D tier. Gary Trent Jr. C. I don't like him, but he's not unusable. That's probably the best way to say it. Is like, he's not unusably bad. He's probably the worst player in C tier, but he's better than these guys in B tier. Right? See, better than these guys in D tier, I guess. Gerald Green. I don't think he's good. I don't think Gerald Green is good. Like, it's been too, like, we initially had for a couple of years we were nostalgic about Gerald Green because of how god tier he was in 2K13. I mean, maybe 5% of us to play my team right now played back when Gerald Green was a god. Played back in those years. This card right here. Can't Curry, base 70. Yeah, he's got half range, half clamps. Dude just doesn't do it. Don't know why. He's Curry slides, not everything, but he doesn't do much. Emmanuel Quickly. He can cook on offense. I find it hard to put him above D tier because he's a 6'3" undersized point guard. But I mean, this guy can cook. If he was on the point guard tier list, screw it. If he was on the point guard tier list, he'd probably be like B pushing A tier. So I'm gonna put him in C tier. Then we've got Isaac Okoro. I don't care what anyone says, Okoro is going C tier. Okoro is one of the better players in C tier either. I would be tempted to put Okoro up to B tier, but I don't think he's quite that good. Okoro, again, one of the warped reality set players. Those players were just juiced. Like, we got a freaking Matt Bonner who can ball handle at the top of the key and Curry slide. But Okoro, really nice 2 guard. Basically, just another version of the Devon Vasel. Harden. C. I don't like him. I don't like him at all. I know a lot of people would put James Harden in B tier. Some people A tier. I don't think anyone's crazy to put him in S tier, but I think C tier right here in the middle is the best place to put him. We've got a somewhat decently distributed tier list so far. Jerry Sloan. If we're talking next gen, he's A. If we're talking current gen, he's B. Or maybe even C on current. But he's decent. He can curry. His release is good. He's got, again, a really good defense, a good dunker. Only a slasher dribble style on next gen, which isn't great. But I'll give him B tier. I will give the guy B tier because I think it's probably where he belongs. Then we got Joe Dumars. He's like a worse version of Quickly. He was good when he came out, though. He's D tier, but like when he came out, I mean, a lot of people used him, and a lot of people, I think, had success with him, especially on next gen. I actually did really like him when he came out, but sure, look, time goes on, he's not great anymore. Hondo, A tier. Hondo again, like the fact that a card that came out in January is still in A tier is crazy. Like if I had my overall tier list, Hondo would still be in A tier. But like Hondo could easily be, in the right people's hands, he's an S tier player. He really is. And I don't know who's better, Hondo or Mullen. So if I don't have enough S tier, I might have to move one of them up. JR. D. No, he wasn't, even when he came in, he wasn't objectively better than his Kobe's. I'm going to put him in E tier. Not terrible though. This JR. A, but pushing S. He's the best player in A tier. On next gen anyway. And in my opinion, he's better the gap between him and Hondo on next gen is bigger than the gap between the gap that Hondo's better than my current gen. So he's actually my number 1 right now in A tier. He might get moved up to S. Juan Carlos Navarro, you get into A tier as well. It's hard to justify putting him and Hondo in different tiers. It really is. It really is hard to justify putting him and Hondo in different tiers because Hondo's a bit taller. Navarro has got half showtime. Navarro can play point guard. Hondo can't. They both basically have the same release. So I'll give Navarro. I'll put Navarro in A tier, but again, him and Hondo, they're hard to separate. Kawhi. Who's left? He's S. I'm gonna have to put Kawhi in S tier. Kawhi is an S tier 2 guard right now. Hop blinders. Again, on current gen, he has the Kawhi Leonard dribble style, which means he can't quick stop or burst. But again, it doesn't matter. As far as cones go, if we're talking next gen, he might be. He's up there with the very best cones in the game. On current gen, again, he is another one of those guys that can lock up people on defense. Whereas on current gen, he doesn't shoot quite as well as he does on next gen. The big thing with him on current gen is the Kawhi Leonard defensive stance matters, whereas the Kawhi Leonard defensive stance literally doesn't matter on next gen. So he gets these crazy defensive animations that very few players get. I'm trying to think of players that have the Kawhi defensive stance on current gen. I'm pretty sure Beverly, or maybe Beverly has his own. Jordan, I think, has his own defensive stance. Kawhi has his own defensive stance. Is it Gerald Wallace, I think, might have a very similar defensive stance. And someone told me Danny Ferry. I haven't used him enough. Someone told me Danny Ferry on current gen gets the Kawhi defensive stance. But I'm telling you, that is a big thing with him. That is a big thing is his defense. Then we got KPJ. I mean, D. If I'm putting Felipe Lopez in D, I'm going to put KPJ in D. And if you guys are saying stuff like Felipe Lopez isn't close to Kobe Bryant, he is Kevin Porter Jr., I'm asking you, would you, like 90% of people have more success with these guys right here. They just move better. They shoot better. They don't have a release timing on normal. That is just my opinion. Then we have got Kevin Porter Jr. KPJ or Smith, more so than anything. KPJ or Smith is going right beside J Orbis. They're essentially the same card, except one's auctionable and one you have to grind for. And the fact that he's like going for like 200k in auctions means I'm going to go and grind for Darius Smith because I'm like, surely if he were paying 200k for KPJ, then surely J.R.'s worth it. Then we got Klay Thompson. I mean, I want to put him in like E tier just for the fact that his diamond is the same card. But, I mean, is he objectively worse than Bruce Bowen? I don't think I can say that. I think he's worse. I don't think he's objectively worse. So, C tier for both of the Clydes because they're the same card. I think that's probably the fairest place to put them because, again, they're the same card. Kyle Korver. I think people might call me crazy for this. I'm putting Korver in A tier. I'm putting Kyle Korver in A tier. Dude's got half showtime. His one problem is that he doesn't have half quick first step. But he's got half showtime. He has got a 95 driving dunk. He has got a 99 three-pointer. He has also got Curry slide, the quick dribble style on next gen, insane ball handling as well as that. He's an elite defender and is a 6'7" 2 guard, so he's got really good length. So, if you're asking who I'd take, Korver or Billy Owens, I mean, if I'm on next gen, probably Korver, but it's close. If I'm on current gen, no brainer, Kyle Korver. So, I can't believe I'm doing this, but Kyle Korver is going into A tier over like Brandon Roy. It pains me to do this. It really pains me to do this, but Lionel Simmons, I'm putting you in B tier. I love that card. Half blinders, insane dribbling, insane release, but he's not very good on current gen. I love Lionel Simmons. He still has a spot. He's still in my team. I replaced Korver with Trevor Ariza. Trevor Ariza is in my team ahead of Kyle Korver. Heck, Trevor Ariza, in my opinion, at the 2 guard position is the second best on next gen that we have so far. Like, give me Trevor Ariza over at the 2 over DeRozan, but or definitely on next gen, not on current gen. But Yeah, Lionel Simmons, he's A tier on next, definitely. On current, I mean, he's probably low B, so I'm going to put him in B. Malik. If I'm putting Malik or Simmons in... I mean, is Billy Owens better than those guys? I don't think so. Billy Owens, Malik Sealy, Lionel Simmons, they belong in the same tier. They belong in the same tier. They're the best in this tier. These three are the best three in this tier. I'm putting these three right here. They belong in the same tier. Marquez Johnson. Where's Neek? I mean, if you put range on the guy, he's a Dominique clone. So, like, it's hard to say he's terrible. Like, he's cheap. What's he, like 16, 17k right now? He doesn't come with range, but he does have a moderately good 3-ball. Great defense. Okay, great lateral quickness. And shifty dribble style, but he does have a Dominique release. Pro 3 behind the back. He's literally just a Dominique Wilkins clone. So Johnson, you're going to go into B tier. Michael Jordan. Is Jordan objectively better than Bruce Bowen / Clyde? This, I want to put an asterisk here. I hate Jordan 2K. Like, I despise running with Michael Jordan 2K. And I'm going to ask you this question right here. Nobody in did anyone in 250k run Michael Jordan in their squad? No, they didn't. Nobody ran him in a squad in a tournament 3 months ago. When he came out 3 months ago, people weren't even running him in their best squad. So, like Tracy McGrady's, I mean, he's worse than he's going high C tier. He's going high C tier. I'm with my Jordans. With my Jordans, and again, there's an asterisk. I hate Michael Jordan in 2K. My Jordans are going like this. My Jordans... I mean, is he better than Billy Owens? Is he better than Billy Owens? If we're talking next gen, no, he's not better than Billy Owens. If we're talking current gen, maybe. Let's compare these two. Let's compare these two right here. So I'm taking a look at 2KDB. We're bringing up 2KDB right here. So let's compare these two. Here's the total stats. Jordan's 100 better, but a lot of those are in useless stats. So plus 14 in block for Billy Owens, plus 11 strength. Like 11, he's got a better mid-range. Badges wise, there's one difference in half badges. I mean, the only difference for me is that obviously hot zones matter on current gen. But in my opinion, on next gen, like Billy Owens has the better dribble style, a way better jump shot than Jordan on quick. And they both have the same movement behind the back. Like, if you want to move both of them up, you can. But Jordan's better on current gen, whereas Billy Owens is a lot better on next gen. This Jordan, I will say, I'm going to put this Jordan here into A tier. Jordan has the worst layup package in the game. The one thing that kind of saves him is his defensive stance, but he's just not that good. He's decent. Don't get me wrong, he's decent. But like, is he that much better than Darius Miles? I don't think so. I think Darius Miles is in that conversation with Malik Sealy as well. They're very similar cards. Is he that much better than badged up Marquise Johnson? Is he that much better than badged up Dominique? Not really. Is he that much? He's better than Clyde and he's better than Roy. But in my opinion, he's not even close to being as good as Corver. Give me Corver over him any day. And the Havlicek and one Carlos Navarro thing is in the right hands. These two guys are just better. So I'm going to go Michael Jordan. I'll put one Jordan in A tier, one in B tier, one in C tier. Michael Red. B. I mean, he's decent. Ray Allen based on quick. It's not quite Kukoc on very quick, but it's on quick. He's like Kawhi without the defensive animations. I'll go A tier for Michael Red. Michael Red's good. Definitely was not worth the grind if any of you guys did the grind. He most definitely was not worth that grind, but he's not bad. Mo Peterson. Okay on next gen. On current gen, he stinks. Where did I put Quentin? He's one tier ahead of Quentin Richardson. Where have I put Quentin Ritz and I have to put Mo Peterson 1 tier above? Yeah, like these guys can all create. Mo Pete can't create. Mo Pete belongs in D tier. Norman Powell. If he was taller, he'd be... I just wish he was a little bit taller, but he's still a baller. I don't know, because he's really solid. He's like either the worst in C tier. If he can play point guard, he'd be C tier, no brainer. He's either the worst in C tier or the best in D tier. I'm gonna go worst in C tier. I'll go worst in C tier. Pistol Pete Maravich. I mean, he's S tier if we're talking next gen. If we're talking current gen, Pistol Pete's like B, low B, maybe high C. But because of how good the guy is on next gen, I can't not put him in A tier. Pistol Pete Maravich, again, one of the best players in this game at creating his own shot on next gen. He's fantastic. Ray Allen. As much as I liked Ray Allen at one stage, I liked him mainly because he was one of the very few players with half blinders. And like, if we've got Lionel Simmons in B tier, I can't put Ray Allen above C tier. He is not. He's not in the stratosphere of Lionel Simmons. He's nowhere near. Like, he's definitely better than the guys in D tier, but I think C tier, and he's not even one of the best in C tier. Rudy Fernandez. I love this card so much, but he's D tier. I loved Rudy Fernandez when he came out. He was God. He was the best. I don't care what anyone says. He was better. When he came out, he was better than Kobe. He was way better than Nate Jones. He was better than J.R. Smith. But that was in January. He's D tier. Scotty. There's two ways I look at Scotty. So, if you're talking about using him as a cone in a competitive setting, Scotty is B tier. If you are talking about a card that you actually are trying to do anything with and playing unlimited, I'm going to say C tier. So I don't know. I think for most of you guys, Scotty's going to be terrible. But I know there are people that are going to be watching this from a competitive perspective, and Scotty is a lot better than, for example, a Clyde. But I know that, again, like, I'm pretty decent at the game. The vast majority of people watching this are probably at a level probably a bit below where I am. And I'm going to have way more success with a Clyde than with a Scotty. Because of Scotty's uses are mainly for competitive type players. So, and it's not even the defense, it's just the way he plays defense. Because nobody can guard anybody one-on-one on either gen. It's just the way he plays lanes, but most people aren't going to play lanes at an elite level. So, I think more people are going to have success with the likes of Clyde and Scotty, so I'm going to put him in C tier. He's good, though. Tracy McGrady, A. Is T-Mac still good? He's still got it. I don't care what anyone says. Tracy McGrady still got it. Like, he's more than usable if we're talking about current gen. He's decent, but not great on next gen. He's just really a cone. But he's still really, really good on current gen. So, let's put him in A tier. This T-Mac, S. No brainer. The best of the cards we've seen so far on next gen. And very, very close to being the best on current gen. His handle's good. His 3-point is good. He's got Trey Burke on very quick, I think. Maybe it's only Trey Burke on quick, but he's got the Curry slide. He dunks on everybody. His defense spectacular. And he's got half blinder / steady. So, S tier. Trevor Ariza. You guys are going to call me crazy. I don't think I can do it. A. I was about to move Trevor Ariza up to S. I don't think I can. And let's see who's actually left on this list. I'm going to move J.R. Smith and Kevin Porter J.R. Smith up to S tier. These are the same card. And we're going to leave it at that. We're going to leave it at that for S tier. I'm going to put Trevor in A tier. Trevor moves, man. He can shoot. His defense is great. I have yet to try... I have tried out that release on very quick on next gen. Or on current gen. It's the Rondo release. Which is really nice. His release one of the best in the game on next gen. Like, Trevor Ariza is one of the best two guards in this game. And for me, he's a no-brainer in A tier. Especially on next gen. Then we've got Tyler Hero. I mean... high D. I liked him when he came out. But he's high D. Then we've got Victor Oladipo. Oladipo's going... Why am I talking about low? He's like B. He's like B. Because he can play point guard, you can kind of... That's a good secondary position. And he's like low B. Yeah, like Jerry Sloan level at the 2. He's not bad though. Like, again, his release is pretty good. And he's got encourage chance, so B tier. Vince Carter. Vince is another one. Vince is one of those. This card should be great. But for me, he's not. I don't know what it is about Vince. There's just something I've hated about Vince every single year in 2K. Levine's A and B. They both play basically the same level on offense, but defensively they're night and day. Levine's one of the better players in the game on offense on either gen. His release is fantastic on both. It's just he plays a little bit of defense on his opal. However, considering his opal 100k, Pink Diamond's what's it, like 9k at times. I definitely would suggest you to pick up the Pink Diamond instead, but the opal is definitely better. So anyway, that is the video. This is my tier list of 2 guards. I know the one player people are going to be most crazy about probably is Jordan, and I say it in everyone's tier list, I just don't like Jordan. I just don't like Jordan in 2K. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.